Alright, let's talk about one of the biggest what-ifs in NFL history. Johnny Manziel. If you were a football fan in the early 2010s, you couldn't escape the hype around this guy. He was the face of college football for a while. Dude was running all over Alabama, winning Heisman as a freshman, and making highlight plays that didn't even seem possible. Everyone thought we were about to get a new kind of quarterback in the NFL. Not just good, but exciting, flashy, and fun to watch. He had that swagger, he had confidence, and he had that it factor. But the way it actually went, total opposite. He flamed out almost instantly, and his NFL career was basically over before it even got started. And the reason is pretty simple. Johnny Manziel did not have discipline. He didn't study film. He didn't take care of his body, and he was way more focused on partying and that celebrity lifestyle than being a professional quarterback. But here's where I want to flip it. What if that wasn't the case? What if Johnny Football actually had self-discipline? What if he had the mindset of Tom Brady or Drew Brees, where he locked in, cut out distractions, and dedicated himself to being great? Let's get into this, because if that happened, the NFL, and especially the Browns, might look way different right now. So first, let's set the stage. Manziel burst into the scene at Texas A&M in 2012. As a freshman, he threw for over 3,700 yards, ran for over 1,400, and scored 47 total touchdowns. That's insane. He even beat Nick Saban and Alabama, which basically turned him into a legend overnight. He won the Heisman, the first freshman to ever do it. The way he played was wild. He was undersized, sure, but he made plays out of nowhere. Scrambling around, dodging sacks, throwing darts on the run. He was literally like a video game character, and fans loved it. Johnny Football wasn't just a quarterback, he was a whole brand. The Browns drafted him in the first round in 2014, thinking they finally found their franchise quarterback. The hype was through the roof with this guy, but it didn't take long for reality to hit. Instead of grinding, studying film, and adjusting to the NFL speed, Manziel partied nonstop. He admitted later he basically didn't care. He was showing up late, skipping team activities, and when he was on the field, it showed. He wasn't ready. 2 years later, he was out of the league. Okay, so let's flip it. What if Manziel actually came into the NFL and took it seriously? Imagine him with the same raw talent, but now he's working his ass off in the film room. He's in the gym, he's got a personal trainer, he's eating right, he's cutting back on late nights, and he's actually trying to be the leader of a franchise. Suddenly, the Browns aren't getting the Johnny Football who flames out after 2 seasons. They're getting a legit quarterback. If Manziel had self-discipline, the first thing that changes is his rookie season. Instead of looking lost, he's ready to go. He doesn't just rely on scrambling around, he learns the playbook. He studies defenses, and he figures out how to mix his crazy athleticism with actual NFL-level decision-making. In 2014, the Browns had weapons. Josh Gordon was an elite wide receiver when he was on the field. They had Jordan Cameron at tight end, and their offensive line was solid with legends like Joe Thomas. A disciplined Manziel could have had real success right away. Maybe not MVP numbers, but good enough to show promise. And let's be honest, the AFC North was competitive, but not unbeatable. The Steelers were solid, and the Ravens were solid, but Cleveland could have easily been in the mix. Instead of going 7-9 and missing the playoffs, maybe the Browns are a wildcard team. Imagine Johnny Football in the playoffs his rookie year. That would have been wild. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. If Manziel works out, the Browns don't spend the next decade desperately searching for a quarterback. No more Brandon Weeden, no more DeShone Kizer, no need to draft Baker Mayfield in 2018. That changes everything. Think about the roster moves. If the Browns actually had stability at QB, maybe Josh Gordon doesn't spiral the way he did. Maybe the coaching staff sticks around longer instead of getting fired every other year. Maybe Cleveland starts building a real culture earlier. And on top of that, the draft is completely different. In 2018, instead of taking Baker at number 1, they might have gone after a guy like Saquon Barkley, or built their defense even more. The whole league starts to shift because Cleveland finally got their quarterback right. Picture this, a disciplined Manziel going head-to-head with Ben Roethlisberger twice a year. Those games would have been must-watch. Big Ben was that veteran pocket passer, tough as nails. Johnny would have been that young, flashy playmaker running around making crazy plays. That's a rivalry fans would have eaten up. Then, a few years later, Lamar Jackson comes into the league. Now you've got Manziel versus Lamar twice a year. 2 mobile quarterbacks making defenses look silly. That would have been insane for the division. And who knows, if Manziel was good, maybe the Ravens or Steelers draft differently to try to counter him. That's how much impact a single player can have. So, let's be real here for a second. Would Johnny Manziel have been the next Tom Brady? No, probably not. He was never built to be a 20-year career guy throwing for 80,000 yards. But could have he been a legit Pro Bowl quarterback? Absolutely. With discipline, Manziel could have had a career kind of like Russell Wilson's early years. Smaller QB, mobile playmaker, but also smart and efficient. I honestly think he would probably be better than Russell Wilson. Now, I know that's a far stretch, but man, the way he was elusive, making plays out of nowhere, it was insane. And maybe not multiple Super Bowls, but a steady career with highlight plays and respect around the league. At minimum, he would have been like a Russell Wilson. Good enough to win games, good enough to be the guy for a franchise, and definitely good enough not to be labeled a bust. But of course, that's not what happened. In reality, Manziel did not have discipline. He wasted a shot, and instead of being remembered as one of the greats, he's remembered as one of the biggest busts. It's sad because the talent was there. He just didn't have the mindset to match it. And I think that's the lesson here. Talent alone is not enough in the NFL. You can be the most exciting player in college, but if you can't put in the work, the league will chew you up and spit you out. So yeah, what if Johnny Manziel had self-discipline? We're probably looking at a completely different Browns team in the 2010s, maybe even a Browns team that doesn't stay the laughingstock of the league for so long. We're looking at a quarterback who, at minimum, could have had a solid 8 to 10 year career, and at best could have been one of the most fun players to watch of his generation. Instead, we're left with the what if. And honestly, as a fan, that's the frustrating part, because we all saw what he could do at Texas A&M. We all saw the talent. We just never got to see what it looked like when paired with discipline. And that's why Johnny Manziel will always be one of the biggest what could have been stories in NFL history. Thank you for watching, guys. If you liked the video, hit subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. You're the best. Peace.